Yeah, well, this is a problem in all homeschools. The problem is that the child's knowledge sinks sometimes to the level of the prejudices of the parent. And I've never liked spelling. So as a consequence, I didn't teach spelling. Okay. Now, I've said, and the way we do it, we say, well, if you read enough good literature and outstanding material by outstanding writers, you will learn vocabulary, grammar, syntax, spelling, and everything sort of by osmosis. You see enough of it, you always see the word spelled right, so you learn it. And spelling is kind of arbitrary. You ever read anything written by George Washington or some of his competitors? The spelling is incredible. They spell the same word 3 or 4 ways. This was not standardized then. Of course, spelling is an arbitrary thing. This works with most kids. At least in my experiences, it worked with most of mine, but not all. I have one in which it didn't work very well. It is, I think, a good way to learn grammar and spelling and vocabulary and so forth by just exposure to vast amounts of good material. I think that I have done those statistics, but my guess would be 80% of children will pick it up fine that way, but some won't. And so it's important to have something for those that don't. In vocabulary, for example, we put into our curriculum a very rigorous vocabulary exerciser for 6,000 words that are key to the books they learn, to force them to learn the vocabulary if they're not learning it anyway. In grammar, it's good to have a good grammar text available. If the child is not picking up good grammar, then you give him some grammar lessons. Now, this does not mean that he has grammar year after year for 6 years. The grammar isn't that complicated, but he may need some grammar lessons. Similarly, if it's spelling, when you correct, the only thing a parent, in the way that we teach, does every day is to grade their essay. They write a page every day, and you circle the errors. If they spell something wrong, you circle it. You don't fix it for them, you circle it. They have to go figure out how it's spelled. But if by this feedback every day of having their papers graded, they still don't start spelling right, well, then you may need to do some spelling lessons. I don't think it's necessary to force it on the child unless he doesn't learn the other way. You look at even the standard tests, the scholastic aptitude tests for college entrance have a lot of grammar on them. But the grammar is of this sort. Here's a sentence, here's a piece that's missing, here are 5 pieces, which piece fits? And anyone who works that exam by what sounds right has a great advantage over anybody who tries to dissect the grammar. A student that tries to dissect the grammar and figure out from grammar what goes in there doesn't have a chance because he can't do it fast enough. It has to sound right. So it's the better way to learn. You don't have these rules in the way. Of course, I'm sure I've made many grammatical errors here in the last half hour, but you don't have those rules in the way. It's better to learn that way. If the grammar really comes in, well, it doesn't sound right, what's wrong with it? Then you can dissect it and tell him. And if he knows grammar, he can understand what you said. But really, the error was made before any of you thought about it in grammar. But I think bottom line is most people can learn without it, but if they don't, they should have the standard text, the standard courses.